Hi there, my name's Rich and I'm co-CEO of eTool, and I'm so excited about this new scenarios functionality that we're introducing that I wanted to actually demo myself. So we've always had the ability to record recommendations in our software, but we're now changing that to recording scenarios. And the advantage of this new functionality, there's some similarities, but there's some key advantages. One is that we have an ability now to branch scenarios. So rather than just recording concurrent design changes, we can actually branch certain scenarios and compare them more accurately to each other. And we can also model functionality and design life changes, which is quite hard with the existing recommendations functionality or prior recommendations functionality. So what I'm going to do is give you a brief demo of this today. So what we'll do is start with this example design. We've got a business as usual design here. We're going to add the documentation of our new scenario. And we might change the hot water system to, we might try some different hot water systems to see. So this one will be a solar hot water system with a gas heat pump, but I also want to perhaps try just a heat pump with high efficiency. We might do another one, which is a high efficiency heat pump with a CO2 refrigerant. Whoopsie. So I'm going to change the documentation of this one. So it'll be a slight variant. So we've got a couple of different options for hot water. We could do another scenario in here that relates to hot water, but it's not a system change. It might be low flow shower heads. Okay, in order to record one of these strategies or scenarios, I just click this little arrow button here to make it active. So we'll record this one first, and I'm going to start from the business as usual design, and then I'm going to make my change. So I want to add a new hot water system in. And then delete the old hot water system out. And we can see what kind of benefit that gives us. So slight initial uptick in impacts, but very significant saving. 10% saving in life cycle impacts, which is actually pretty huge. Now I'm going to go for just a straight heat pump, but high efficiency heat pump. And again, what I want to do is compare these different hot water options directly against each other rather than trying to run these concurrently. I want to run them in parallel. So I'm going to actually pick the same starting point for the scenario. So we've got high efficiency with CO2, or we'll just run with the normal heat pump. And I'll quickly, hopefully, check the COP on that. So again, I want to delete my old hot water system out. But I want to edit, give this a high COP to reflect that I chose a high efficiency for my documentation. Hopefully I can understand this little algorithm here. Pretty simply, I'm pretty sure it's this one here. Okay, so now I can see that the high efficiency heat pump is actually better than this other option that's got the solar. So the efficiency of the heat pump is really critical in terms of how effective these strategies are. And this could change depending on your climate zone and all sorts of things. And I guess that's one of the beauties of LCAs. You can tease these things out. If I did another option here with high efficiency with CO2 refrigerant, we'd see. Let's run that scenario. And I've got an even bigger saving there because we're using a lower carbon refrigerant. And then I can see what the effect of low flow shower heads would be against these as well. So again, I'm going to branch it from that same scenario. So here we're just sort of testing all these different options, and there's probably no embodied impact difference with these, so I can just go straight in and edit the demand here, and let's just assume that the existing business as usual flow rate was 9 litres and the new one's 5.5. We can see what the change associated with that was. So that was, where is it here? Low flow shower head, so only a 6% change. And fortunately though, I can actually apply this change on top of one of these other changes. So what I'm going to do is copy that documentation. And I'm going to run that scenario concurrently or in addition to the high efficiency CO2 refrigerant option. So my starting point is that previous scenario where we ran the high efficiency heat pump. So same change, try to make the same change. What happened there? Let me cancel out of that and just try it again. I'll just simplify that. Okay, beauty. And that was actually a smaller percentage change because we already got such a big saving from the high efficiency heat pump with the CO2 refrigerant. There was less carbon to save. So if we'd made that change on a more inefficient, the low flow shower heads on a more inefficient hot water system, it's quite a large saving. But when we've already optimised the hot water system, as you'd expect, it's a smaller saving. So and that's a nice demonstration of how your savings can be influenced by the order in which you run the strategies, and that's why being able to branch the strategies is quite important to get a representation of how individual strategies actually compare to each other. This result here, though, what it's giving us when I run them on top of each other or on the same branch, is it is giving us an accurate reflection of the absolute impacts or the impacts of the final design with both of these strategies in it. So hopefully that demonstrates how it works. What it's actually doing each time you add a new scenario and make it active, and I'll just show you back here at the structure level, is it's adding a new design into the structure. So just be aware of that. If you delete a scenario, so if I make this scenario one of these scenarios, particularly this one here, so if I deleted this scenario here, which is in the middle, or deleted the design, or went into the scenario itself and deleted it over here, just be aware that what that's going to do is take the changes that were in this scenario and actually apply them up to this scenario, because this scenario already, in effect, this scenario already had the changes from this scenario in it, so it won't undo those changes in all subsequent scenarios. So that's something to just be aware of. But you can certainly delete or edit scenarios anywhere in the tree by just making them active, which is an improvement on the recommendations as well. Anything else to mention? There's a few things. You should still be using recommendations if you want to run a target setting report, and you can do that by choosing recommendations here. And other than that, we'll keep our support posts up to date. The other thing we can do is assign the, in here we can actually assign the purpose of this scenario. So this might be our improved design, and then that'll create a new row in here to say, well, everything up here was improved, or potentially this is our proposed, and then we could run another scenario. So we make this the proposed. We could run another scenario. Let's do an embodied impact improvement scenario. We'll go, no, I don't have a, we'll go for a, we'll just see what we've got. So maybe some fly ash in the concrete. %, fly ash in the concrete, and we'll run that against our proposed design effectively. There's only a couple of entries in here for the cement, I think, so I'm just going to edit these myself. Okay. Probably got some foundations in the wall here as well. Oops. Where is the 50%? Here we go. Perfect. Okay, so back to my scenarios tab. And then I could make this final scenario our final design or improved design. So we can mark certain scenarios as the design progresses. Okay, the only other thing you might, so the only other thing to mention is you might be running a full scenario tree, which is what we call this, for concept design, but then need to rerun this for design stage 4, detailed design. So what you would do is go back to your business as usual, clone that. It's going to ask you to clone it into a new structure, but you can actually clone it into that same structure, and then call it business as usual again. and that'll enable you to start a whole new tree. So you have to make your updates to your business as usual to reflect if there's any changes between concept and detailed design, and then you can start recording your new tree with this new design. So it enables you to run different scenario trees at different stages in the project. So all this is really helpful. It's helpful for your BREEAM reporting because you've got all your separate scenarios in there already. It's helpful for giving you flexibility and granularity over how you report your savings. It's really handy for being able to tweak some of those scenarios, which you can't do with the recommendations at the moment. So yeah, a nice little feature addition, and we hope you guys enjoy it.